Good evening, dear racing fans. Welcome to the Redline Racing community. This is the third race of the third season that the RRC runs, broadcasted on YouTube tonight. I'm Sepp Bauer. Glad you're with us for what promises to be another great racing event. Yeah, we will be in Brazil tonight. This is the Autodromo José Carlos Pache in Interlagos, Brazil, just on the outskirts of Sao Paulo. Interlagos means, translated, something like between the lakes, and this area has been a big swamp area, maybe you could call it that way, until the 1940s, and then the ground broke then for this racetrack that is part of the Formula One since 1973. And yes, this track has brought us so many great battles and great races and jaw-dropping moments. Just remember the championship back and forth battle here between Hamilton and Felipe Massa, or maybe just the same about Vettel versus Alonso some years ago. And yeah, the track is 4.3 kilometers of length, features 15 turns, so among the shorter tracks of the calendar. And Sector 1 is actually just one incredible long DRS zone. Let's have a look at the track here. So where this little arrow is, there's approximately the start finish line, and a bit earlier than that the DRS zone starts, is just interrupted shortly, maybe you could say so, by the Senna S, and then the second straight again, one long DRS zone. The track is very broad there, so a lot of overtake possibility in this section. But likewise, you can very easily invalidate your time there in the Senna S. And yeah, the track record is set by Valtteri Bottas, a 1:10.5 dating back to 2018. Track is set to be an easy one, more or less easy, as long as it's dry. Let's have a look at the rules and assists that we race in the RRC. We have an 80 minutes qualifying followed by a 50% race. That should be something around about 35 laps or something. And equal car performances, of course. Safety car and VSC is on full damage and strict corner cutting. That is an issue here, but it's more or less rather track limits except corner cutting. So I mentioned it already, in the Senna S it's easy to exceed the track limits on the inside. We see dynamic weather. That will be a topic. That is always something you have to bear in mind in Brazil. A manual race start, full rules and flags, of course. The assists, that's depicted here. So medium traction control, manual gearbox. The pit assist is on, so you do not have to worry when coming into the pit lane. But the pit release assist is off after the tire change. So we still have 2 or 3 minutes until the season will start. Some general or background information about what's going on, about the ongoing season. We have seen a race on Friday from the Friday Night Racing League. That's part of the RRC2, as we race on 5 evenings per week. And yeah, there were some incidents on Friday night, so it is announced to be some strict stewarding from today and ongoing. So we will see if that could lead to some problems in the aftermath. We have a few absences tonight, so as far as I know, for example, the Greek Sep and Bro Give Up will probably not be with us tonight. Let's have a look which of our drivers have checked into the lobby. Johnny Cox, I see. Optics Extremist, our host for tonight. There's one of the reserve drivers. It's very cryptic name, but actually he's just called Mike Edwards. So good evening, Mr. Edwards. Tirash is there, Walker is there. That's important as he is leading the overall standings. We will have a look on that department too, of course. Stinson, Benny Boy, Deroy, the second reserve driver for tonight, and the third one is it's Evan, and this is me. Hello. The session timer has started to tick down, so we will probably be 19, maybe even a full grid, thanks to our reserve drivers for tonight. And yes, here we go. Off we go to Brazil with these pictures from the Senna S. Yeah, we are 20. We are 20 guys, full grid. That's a cool thing. Thanks everyone for joining, and especially to our reserve drivers for having time to go racing with us tonight. And here we are in the pit lane. Weather looks quite fair, I would say. So probably will the weather will not be problematic, at least not for the qualifying. And the first one to leave the pits is Optics, so let's stay with him for a moment. Let's get in some more information. The minimap we already have. Let's have a look at the telemetry. I'm not a big fan of showing those details usually, but I have been with our guys in the practice session. We always have a volunteer practice 1 hour before the event starts, and yeah, I've had a look about some details there, and so let's just see how these details will look now when it matters. So we will start the first hot lap from Optics on his onboard. He is very close there to Krofi. Well, not the best setup for a hot lap, I would say, for both of these guys. Krofi not there anymore, went to the pits. Okay, so Senna S and almost already close, almost the first invalidation. Sector 1, if you want to be fast, yep, you got to beat the 17-second mark, and he did that. Here in the intermediate sector, long right-hander that gets closer until a very narrow turn here. Left-hander where you have to be patient and just a copy. Another right-hander looks very alike to the one before. And this is sector 2 where you need downforce. That's it. Here we are. Oh, Krovi is out. Maybe he crashed already on his first hot lap try. And where does the time stop for X? Here's the beginning of the DRS zone. And he's a 107.8. First hot lap. That's already very good. Faster than the quickest lap time in the practice. In practice, of course, no one wants to show the maximum pace, of course. And Walker, the new pole setter, in his Alfa Romeo, blasted the optics time by almost a second. And Walker was among the fastest in practice too, with a 108 point something. And he beat his practice time by nearly 2 seconds. We see a lot of yellow coming in, coming out, but we can easily ignore that in qualifying. A lot of times coming in right now, of course, as the track is short and the lap times are rather quick. We could have a lot of shots, so we could easily run 3 hot laps. Maybe even 4, depending on the amount of soft tires you have opted for to go into the session. Thuram now in second and Stinson is in P3. The one I accidentally sometimes call Barney Stinson, but that's not his name, of course. And who else is on a hot lap? Maybe Nutcrack. He was part... Oh, he's not. He is not. You can see the red color on the minimap. That means his lap time will be erased due to corner cutting. Let's have a look what Lewis Hamilton is doing on a valid lap time, running on medium tires. 108.0, 1.1 second behind Walker for mediums. That's not a bad time, but probably not competitive for the race then. Yeah, I promised you to have a look at our standings. Of course, we see Walker. He is not only leading the table here, he is leading our overall standings likewise. He has won both the first 2 races, and yeah, it's not a big surprise then to be leading the table with 50 points, followed by Benny Boy, who is in P11 here at the moment. Benny Boy then has 24 points of gap behind Walker, so season's long still, nothing's lost already, but 24 points is already quite some gap after just 2 races. Then we see Thuram, who is just 2 points behind Benny, and then we have 3 races equal 19 points. That's Lewis Hamilton, Stinson and Fatih in P6 here. P6 overall and second on mediums. Oh, I see Stinson reaching into P2 on his medium set. That's very strong pace. Only Walker was faster than him, although he is running on the slower tire. Let's have a look who is on an hot lap. That's maybe Johnny Cox in the Ferrari. And he pushes into P2. Wow, 88 thousandths just behind his rival in the Alpha. So Johnny Cox seems to be the only one who is able to more or less match the pace of Walker. Ed Craig may be on a hot lap again. Here he is. I wanted to jump to him earlier already, but he invalidated his hot lap there already on his second try. As mentioned, the lap is short, so you can have multiple tries. Likewise, if the lap is short, you can be in traffic issues, but the two guys ahead should be far away enough to not be entroubling Netcrack. Oh, there was someone taking the very wide lane to go out of the way. And lap time for Netcrack as he runs out of the ERS here. He is only in 15th, exactly 2 seconds slower than Walker. That's not competitive yet. What's one of our reserve drivers doing? Here's Deroy, still on his out lap. Let's stay with him for a moment. Yeah, next to the driver championship we do have Constructors Championship 2, of course, and there we see a very dominant team of Alfa Romeo with their drivers Walker and Stinson. They are in P1 and 3 here, and overall they are very well running too. So the Alfa Romeo leads with 69 points. That's, yeah, reminds of some very old times, reminds of some Alfa Romeo and Juan Manuel Fangio times. Oh, while Mike Edwards has retired, there is one blue colored dot at the end of sector 1 where Deroy will come to soon, so maybe he lost his car there. Could be on the left hand side. Going on. There is... now he's vanished. There was a wrecked car. That's the car of Mike Edwards, the reserve driver, who posted a pretty good lap time with being 4.5 tenths behind Walker. That's pretty good. Let's see what he will finish in the end now, as he is unable to improve his lap times. What's Sonopat doing in front? I hope he's not gonna impede Deroy here. Sonopat, who is still on his out lap. Now he picks up the pace. Should not be trouble for Deroy. Where will our reserve driver land in the end? Searching a bit of a stream here, maybe 15th. 1.6 seconds behind Walker. Okay. For his first hot lap, that's maybe something like more or less okay, but there's more possible for him. I'm pretty sure about that. So another reserve driver who I am very unsure how to pronounce. This is Ninja Penguino or something like that. Let's just call him the Penguin from Batman, maybe. And he is in 7th, but he aborted his hot lap because of invalidation. He is in 7th, but still there's no hectic about times. There has been one Red Bull going out on the track. Benny Boy or Netcrack. Let's see who was that. That's Benny Boy, there he is. With 6 minutes of time, he either just wants to go once more, or if he wants to have 2 hot lap tries, he has to hurry up now. And Here's Smithy. Let's maybe stay with him for a moment. He was level after Sector 1. Let's have a look what he's doing in Sector 2. Afterwards we will jump to Stinson, who's running on softs now. And Smithy, no improvement for him. What's Stinson doing? Improving himself by 4/10, but that is not too much. If you consider that the formerly posted time he did on mediums. And Stinson is in the pole, 106.6. The new pole setter, the one who is not Barney Stinson. Still, I am a bit surprised, I have to admit, because I expected more from him. But okay, we will see what's going to happen, because he will be able to have another hot lap, and there is optics out. Optics out in the center S. There's no one I can jump who can show us. Maybe here. What happened there? Car already vanished. Can I jump to someone who shows us what happened? Nope, I cannot, sadly. You can only see the orange colored dot in the center S. That's out. So 4 minutes left. 4 minutes left. Let's see who's trying another shot. Deroy on the outlap here. Smithy still in the pits. Sonopat, Tirash, Superstee, Turam, Johnny Cox, Walker and Stinson likewise. Fatih is ruled to be on a hot lap. Let's have a look what he's doing. No, he's not. He is hurrying back to his pit crew to hopefully get a new fresh set of softs and then run out again. If he wants to run again, he needs to leave his garage latest at 2 minutes, I would like to assume. What's Lewis Hamilton doing? Improving himself by 2.5 tenths. Here we are on the last straight. DRS opened up and he will finish in 4th. Improving himself by 3/10. Pushing his Mercedes into the second starting row. At least maximally. He is at the moment in P4. Behind him the Penguin. Running in the intermediate sector. Let's see what he's doing here. Nope, no improvement for him. No improvement for him. Our two top-notch drivers, Stinson and Walker, have just left their pits and are on the outlap. Who is running on outlap? Maybe Benny Boy? No, he's not. He has aborted. T-Rush maybe? Nope. Yeah, he is. He is on a hot lap, but he lost a tenth in the first sector. First sector is more or less only about top speed, so you can not really win something in that sector, just lose a lap, if you can say so. Let's see what he's doing in the intermediate sector, and then we will jump ahead to Walker, who is the first one of our top guys that is on a hot lap. T-Rush barely off. That will be enough to jump ahead in the table. Here we are with Walker already in sector 2, but no improvement in sector 1. Maybe a bit of traffic ahead. Netcrack drives through the grass to go out of the way. Stinson is at the beginning of sector 1, so for the moment let's stay with Walker, who is barely improving, 42 thousandths of a tenth. his improvement, that would not be enough to push ahead for the pole position. What will his time be in the very end? Oh, until 84 thousandths he came close to Stinson, but close, just close, not ahead, while Stinson is improving himself again a little bit. Can he improve his pole setter time? He can! 106.4. And what does Johnny Cox now do? Probably, slash maybe, the last one who is able to push Stinson off the throne at the end of sector 2. Improving himself, but just barely, not really enough to be in the fight for the pole. What about Fatih? About level to his formerly posted time. Johnny Cox meanwhile has pushed ahead for P2. Johnny Cox in the front row, splitting the alphas. Turamba now in 4th. And Fatih, our reigning champion, is battling to jump ahead of his 6th position. Improving himself, but that would only be enough for 1 position ahead. He could only attack Hamilton right now in 5th. Where will the stop? No, he will not even finish the lap. He has aborted his hot lap in the very end. So, I think we have us a pole setter. Congratulations to Stinson in his Alfa Romeo, ahead of Johnny Cox, Walker and Turamba. That will be our front rows. Stinson already back in his garage. And who's running still? That's Shakily maybe. Let's just stay with him until the CPU finishes a session. Always looks a bit better to finish with a driving car instead of just looking into some garage. So this is the official end of our session. Jake Kitty in the Renault will start the race on P18. Here's the final result. Stinson in the pole, followed by Johnny Cox, then Walker, Turamba 4th, 5 Lewis Hamilton, 6 Fatih, 7 Mike Edwards, 8 Ninja Penguino, P9 Super Steve, P10 The Extremist, 11 Optics, 12 Tirash, 13 Benny Boy, 14 Zonopad, 15 Leroy, 16 Smithy, 17 Oh It's Evan, P18 Jake Lee, 19 goes to Netcrack, and last with no time set for Krovi. So we know the Parc Fermé rules means that our top 10 drivers have to start the race on this very set of used softs. From P11 and beyond, the drivers have the free tire option, as we see dry conditions, fair weather, slightly cloudy, just as I suppose almost every of our drivers wish the weather to be. Our guys have half a minute left to change some minor things about their setup, and I will be with you in just a bit. So here we are into the installation lap, and then followed by 36 laps of racing condition. First look always, of course, is about the tires, and a lot of drivers running on softs. P1 to 10 they had to, of course. I expected some more yellow color from 11 on, but it's very mixed there. So we see 4 drivers on mediums and equally 5 drivers on softs. Yeah, what the better strategy is, that's a big question, but just when we speak about tire strategy, here's it from Amazon Web Services. So either one stop red on red to white, or 2 stop red yellow, something like that it will be. And Stinson has just rushed through his installation lap. The backmakers are even still in sector 2, so he will have to wait a long time. Very lonely there in the front row. In the real life, that would be pretty evil to the engine, but in virtual worlds, we do not have to worry about that. So the starting grid has formed up. Every driver is parking in his starting box. The Brazilian Grand Prix is started. We see a lot of ghosting for some reason. I don't know what happened in the front row, but everything went rather cleanly. Some collision behind, I think it was some Haas. Some Red Bull taking a wide lane in the table is confused like always in the first 1 or 2 laps, so please do not get confused too. Let's just wait a sector or 2 and then it will be updated itself. Yeah, Stinson is still in the pole. Johnny Cox behind him. No position changes inside the top 5. Then first one to pull ahead, Mike Evans +1 in 6th, just pushing ahead of Fatih. Ooh, late attack here from one of the Mercedes. Got to be Lewis Hamilton there, who's obviously faster than Turamba. The top 3 are rather close to each other. Walker very close here to Johnny Cox, seeking the slipstream, but it seems that Johnny Cox is faster on the straight. We have seen a few drivers being ghosted, but somehow I doubt that that was real. Here we see the graphics that Johnny Cox would be ghosted. Now he's not again, so I don't think that that is for real right now. And Stinson just doesn't care what's happening behind him. He just pulls like he did in the first 2 races. We see 4 guys in the pits. Oh, it's Evans, and Gilly. All of them probably were involved in some early seat there. Let's have a look at the tires. Krovi, Extremis, Jakey have left the pits on fresh mediums. Oh, it's Evan on fresh softs. So all of them are running in a 2-stop strategy then. Can't make it through the race on this set, of course. Oh, and Mike Evans needs a early pit stop too. There he is. Let's stay with him for a moment. He had a good start, a good qualifying, good start. Who knows, that takes so much time, that's so long. And he will finish. Now he will leave the pits on fresh softs and is 16th now. That's sad. Gives Fatih his P6 back. That's the position he started in. Yeah, and Mike Edwards, likewise to everyone behind him, will now hope for an early safety car phase, because then they would be able to close up to the rest of the grid again. Overtake here from Sonopart against Smithy. There probably was some mistake by Smithy, because Sonopart really rushed by him on his mediums, so he is in theory on the slower tire, Sonopart. And another overtake here, battle here in these NRS, Super Steve and Benny Boy. Bit of a touch there, but hopefully no damage to Benny Boy's front wing. Benny Boy now with the DRS activated, and ooh, that was close. Tried to counter the attack on the inside line, but Benny Boy slammed the door shut on him. He will stay close to him and get his position back. Faster tire. Oh, and there is the first DNF. That is Steroy. What happened there? That was the wrecked BVT Racing Point, and we have a VSC. Let's see if we can get that depicted a bit better. Should be here. Yep, there just the car vanished, so he probably spun on acceleration and kissed the wall. And Lewis Hamilton opted to tires in this VSC phase. Hamilton on mediums to mediums. And another one is in, that's Nutcrack. On mediums, he's in again, so maybe this is because of some damage to his car. There's actually no reason why to change mediums in lap 4 then. So before the VSC, Johnny Cox was inside the DRS window of Stinson. Now he has dropped out, and I can tell you it is very hard to obey to these sector times in VSC conditions, and obviously Johnny Cox lost 4 or 5/10 with that. So let's see who is maybe in attacking mode. We see T-Rush being 7/10 behind Smithy, even though Smithy has a faster tire, at least at the moment still, until the reds degrade. T-Rush, DRS should be opened, it is. He is able to zoom into Smithy but not attack him yet. But if he gets through the NRS in a clean way, he might get a lot closer at the end of this second DRS zone. Pit stop by Super Steve. Yep, no chance for an attack for T-Rush, but he is a lot closer now. Under 3/10 the gap. 2.5, 3/10, always tendering around that. If he gets cleanly through the intermediate sector, he might attack him afterwards, maybe already right now. Wheel-to-wheel action, and he got him easily, but Smithy committed a bit of a mistake, and that was the invitation for an attack in the intermediate sector, and Hamilton is about to attack Smithy here soon too. Smithy, he's in trouble here in the early phases of the race. Both are DRS equipped. Hamilton attacking on the outside, wheel to wheel into the Senna S. Still wheel to wheel, and now he's ahead. Smithy lost 2 positions within half a lap. And even though on the tire. And at the moment we can stay easily with Lewis Hamilton in P10, as he is the only driver who is inside the DRS window, and so the only one who might deliver us some race action. And he does right that, even here already in the intermediate sector. He doesn't even wait for the next DRS zone to attack Tirash. Who gets better acceleration here, more or less equal on both cars. But as soon as the DRS, here we go, he will pull ahead, and that will easily go by. Yeah, he cruises by him. Doesn't even need to until the Senna S. Let's see if he counter that. Zooming ahead, no counter attack, and Turam in the same DRS zone has pushed by Smithy. Smithy losing 1 position after the other. He seems to be in deep trouble here early. Lewis Hamilton is fast on his fresh sets of mediums, already attacking the next one, already tasting the paint of Sonopad's rear wing. DRS zone upcoming, probably the attack before the Senna as Sonopad defending himself. And Hamilton tries on the outside. Ooh, close, very close. Sonopad in the grass on the inside. Now it should work. Have a look. Hamilton is very close already at the beginning of the DRS zone, wheel to wheel, and he goes by. No chance for a counter-attack of Sonopad. Oh, I'm sorry, he's actually called Sotsanpat. One of the names I struggle a bit every once in a while. Sotsan, of course. And behind that's Tirash, who is trying to stay inside the DRS window of Turam, but now he just dropped out. And that means right now, after approximately 1/3 of the race, there is no one in the DRS window of the driver ahead. And we still have 19 of 20 drivers in the race. That's a good thing. So at the moment, if there isn't any attack upcoming somewhere, maybe it's Turam. Turam has closed up very fast onto Sotsampat, and just cruises by him easily here in the DRS zone. As I mentioned in the qualifying, Sector 1 is more or less one big DRS zone, and if you have one long straight to zoom at and then have right another DRS zone after just 1 or 2 turns, you can use that very well, and we've seen a lot of attacks and overtakes just this way. Yeah, I wanted to say, as there is no attack somewhere imminent, probably, I wanted to have a look at the leaders. But there's maybe the next attack. Tirash crawling ahead, no, even zooming ahead against Sotsampat. The Haas is split and he is ahead. So we see Sotsampat and Smithy, who lost a lot of positions early. So, but now we have a look at our leader, as we didn't have so many possibilities to show him thus far. Here is Stinson, who's leading over Johnny Cox and Walker. Fati then in P4. Followed by the Penguino, our reserve driver. Quite a good result for him, quite a good race thus far for him. Oh, Walker in the pits. Walker, the first one of our top drivers to pit. There he is. Soft to soft. So he will have to pit again later. Probably will go another 10-12 laps, and then on mediums he leaves pits just ahead of Lewis Hamilton. And here's Watson Part, who tries to follow Tirash but is doing hard as he is running on, I don't know, they are tires, both mediums, both 11 laps old. He seemed to be able to crawl up in the intermediates, but he's too far away. He is outside the DRS window, 1.2 seconds, 1.3 now. And the next pit stop from our Penguino. Have a look at that. He has opted to go from soft to hard. That means he is trying to go through on this set until the end. So he probably has just finished his pit stop strategy and will now wait for all the other guys to pit and then jump on their each position. He's now behind Smithy, who had so much troubles in the early phases of the race and lost positions a row. Let's just stay with Penguino for a moment and let's see if Smithy will lose just that. Penguino will know that he is going to overtake him anyway soon, either in the DRS zone or because of a pit stop from Smithy. The question is just when, not if. Smithy does not pit, so Penguino will need a DRS attack, and there it is on the inside in the center edge, and he is ahead. We see yellow in sector 2 already vanished, so no bigger issue for anyone. When does our top group stop? When do our top 4 stop? Walker already did, but the guys ahead of Party, Johnny Cox and Stinson did not yet, and maybe they will be under pressure from Penguino now. Maybe they will see themselves forced to try a one-stop race to Walker, pushed by on optics. Did you hear Optics lift? Optics does not dare to attack Walker. Interesting. Optics wants to save his tires, wants to be as easy on them as possible because he wants to go another few laps on them and then switch to mediums and finish the race on a one-stop strategy from soft to medium. But therefore he will have to go another maybe 2, 3, 4 laps. We will have to see what's gonna happen there. And maybe this is the same thought of Fati, Cox and Stinson. And that would put pressure on Penguino. again, as he will finish the race on the slower tire than the other guys in the top 5. Totally different strategy Walker is doing. He is on fresh softs, soft to soft, so no big thoughts about that, just a classic 2-stop strategy. Let's see which one will be the better one. We see an overtake in the midfield, Penguino against Sotson Pat. The other guy of those two who lost a lot of positions in this race already. And Benny Boy is the next to maybe attack Optics here. And Sotson Pat has fought back for his position. And Penguino is slow. Penguino looks slow. He was in front of Sotson Pat just last lap. He committed a mistake somewhere. Sotson Pat did not only overtake him, he pulled ahead by 2 seconds. So there was maybe a little bit of a spin, a bit of a ride through the Brazilian grass. And Optic lost the position. Benny Boy fail. Look at that, we see raindrops on the TV camera, and that is the reason why Stinson, Cox and Fatih didn't stop yet, because they're each chef, they're each race engineer told them that there will be raindrops and they will try to go as long as possible on these softs to then to Intersow. What's going on? Optics sliding on his old softs, maybe because it's starting to get slippery, and Hamilton pushed ahead. Yeah, it's very likely that we see a lot of up and down now, because when it's getting slippery, especially if you have old tires, it's more and more difficult to stay on the track and to stay competitively fast. And Optics in the pits. Optics, the first one of our top 10 to pit, and does he go for Inters? He does! Intermediate for Optics, and here's a safety car! Krovi has DNF'd, Krovi is out, and we see the safety car coming up. Where did he crash? Right and in the next turn? Let's see if Evan can film this for us. There he is, there's the wrecked Williams. Yes, this is a need for a safety car. That's sad for you, Krovi. I hope you will stay with us in the stream and watch your mates racing. And here we see, yeah, we will see tons of pit stops now. Oh, while Stinson has picked up a penalty for speeding in the pit lane. That's a stupid mistake for him. Inters for him. Inters for Johnny Cox. Of course. There's his teammate. Oh, double pit stop just very, very shortly behind each other. Walker now, our overall standings leader, coming in for Inters. First serving a penalty. Now they may change the tires. Turamba, Inter, Benny Boy, Inters. Dirash, Sotsompat, Penguino, all of those guys into the pits now for Inters. Yeah, quite a lucky hit for our leaders to be able to switch to Inters right when the safety car was out. So all of them can thank Krovi for throwing away his Williams. So it's not behind the safety car yet. I think only the leaders are. Yes, Stinson, Cox, Fatih are now behind Bernd Meinender. Oh, what does Stinson do here? I cannot believe it. Stinson in the pits again, and he has picked up another penalty. What's going on here? Serving the second penalty. Fresh inters. No new nose. I have no idea what was that. I can only assume that Stinson wanted to serve the formerly picked up penalty, because under safety car you don't lose that much of time. But then he picked up just another one, so he did this for nothing. He was on to P8. So our new leader now is Jonathan Cox. The two Ferrari leading the race. Very unique view. Cannot say we seen that very often in the real life lately. The two Ferrari, Leclerc and Vettel, had their own history in Brazil in 2019. Let's see if Johnny Cox and Fatih will copy this crash at the end of Sector 1 and beginning of Sector 2. I hope not, of course. Now, as we have a bit of time, let's have a look at the penalty situation. And Stinson is in the pits again. What is he doing? There he is again. I have no idea what he's doing. Is he trying how many sets of inters he has? Very familiar picture here. The Alpha crew waiting until his car. So he has served all his penalties now, but now entirely ruined his race. So probably goodbye points finish for Stinson today. Yeah, I want to have a look at the penalties. Let's do that now as we have a moment. We see a bunch of +3s for Walker, Optics, Hamilton, Penguino, Mike Edwards and Jakey, and some multiple +3s. And now a 5 seconds for collision under safety car. That's not a good thing, of course. A multiple +3s for... It's not correct. And, oh, it's Evan, safety car in slab. And Jonathan Cox is pacing the field. He is warming up his intermediates. And to some time, there's some debris flying off. Come on, boys, don't crash behind the safety car. To some point, Cox will pick up the pace. He did, and shook off Fatih big time. Fatih far away of his teammates. Walker in attacking mode. Not yet. What's going on behind? Optics, Turamba. There was some attack here in the middle of Senna S, and we have the next guy to DNF. That's Sotsonpat. Sotsonpat has crashed on the start-finish line, I think. Now we already far away, cannot show you sadly. And there's just the next one in the grass. That was Evan, who lost his car on acceleration, but he's lapped already anyway. That's why he's ghosted. Ooh, let's see who can be fastest in these changed conditions. There's a fight going on, wheel to wheel, and maybe even a bit of touches between Benny and Hamilton. This is the view of Penguino, who more or less opted for the wrong strategy with changing to hards. He could have changed, if he needed to, onto softs to stay on the fastest tire until the rainfall began. So no DRS anymore, of course, due to rainy conditions. Hotzenfahrt is out. Sad for you that you had to end your race early, but I hope you will stay with us and watch your boys racing. Like for example Benny Boy, who is close to Thuram, and behind there are a lot of guys. Hamilton and Penguino are close too. So errors are forbidden now. No attack on Thuram, but he leaves the door open. No DRS of course anymore, so the guys, if they want to attack, they will have to get it done without DRS now. Yellow in sector 2, but no big crash, so just someone in the grass. Stinson on his way back into the pits, already on P9. Late attack here, no. Who? Benny Boy decided to abort it, and that was a good idea, because otherwise we would have seen some more winglet salads. Hamilton not in a position to attack. Benny Boy can't get next to Thuram here. What's the extremist doing? Oh no, it was a lapper. Jake Lee is lapped. I thought some wheel to wheel action, but not yet. Not yet. He is fighting for points. We see Evan in the pits again. Stinson already on P9. I didn't see how. I cannot imagine how he did that, but he's back into the points, at least for the moment. Yellow in the intermediate sector. Mike Evans has spun, lost his car on acceleration. I would like to assume didn't turn up his differential. There's a big train ahead. Everyone chasing each other. That's Penguino, Hamilton, Benny Boy, Turamba, all of those guys chasing Optics. So probably Optics, the front guy, is the slowest one, and Mike Edwards has given up. No crash. He ran into the pit lane and left the session there, yes. So it really seems like that Optics, the front man of this 5-man group, is the slowest one and more or less holding up everyone behind him. But as there is no DRS, there is just no way beyond him. And we will stay with Penguino here for the moment, and let's see who of those guys is the better rain driver and who of those guys is the boldest to try an attack somewhere. The view is really bad here in the spray. Maybe we will see some guy trying to go on full wets if it's wet enough. Oh, Stinson is there too. Stinson has closed up to this group, making this a, what is it now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6-man fighting group. All of them held up by optics. Everyone's taking a bit of a unique lane in these slow turns to have a bit of better view and to counter some sliding and acceleration problems on the rear. It seems like optics got away a little bit of Turam, so it's maybe not optics but maybe Turam who is holding up all these guys. And Stinson angry. And with a knife between his teeth, attacking Penguin. Oh, will that go well? Ooh. Very late on the brakes, but somehow made it ahead of Penguino, made his car stay stable on braking for the Senna. And now he is running in A, filming us how Hamilton just can't get ahead of Penny. No way beyond, no way even just next to him. You can see Hamilton trying left, trying right, on the other side again, but there's just no way ahead. At least not until Benny Boy doesn't commit a mistake. We are, by the way, in our last 10 laps of the race. So there's this big train on the TV broadcast view. We see Stinson. Will he dare to attack here? Hamilton defending himself next to each other in the Senna, and Stinson made it. Stinson made it past Benny Boy. Wow, incredible second overtake maneuver from Stinson here, with just unreal car stability, how he gets his Alpha through the Senna S. And now he's in the gearbox of Benny Boy. Hamilton tried it but did not go ahead, could not find a way ahead of Benny Boy. Let's see what Stinson is doing. There's one Renault being lapped. That's either Jakey or Evan. And the rain has eased off a bit, so we will probably not see full wets. And there was the crash! There's the crash! Stinson was over eager, too eager on attacking, and both Stinson and Benny Boy need a new nose. Oh, that's sad. Stinson, I mentioned it, unreal car control, but that time it was too much. Twice it went well, the third time was too much. And so Stinson will be out of the points again. Oh, Stinson has left the pits on full wets. Interesting. I just said the rain has eased off and we will not see monsoon tires, and there it is. Full wets for Stinson. Let's see if he will be faster. In the first moment it does not seem so. There he is. He came out of the pits with 9 seconds of gap. Oh, and he has... Oh yes, he is faster. Stinson on his wets is faster, but almost lost his car there. And we see an overtake maneuver from Penguino against Hamilton. This is the big group we had earlier that has, yeah, more or less vanished due to the accident earlier. And Hamilton into the pits. Lewis Hamilton 44 into the pits. Let's stay with him for a moment and see what tires he opts for. There's another one. Optics is in the pits. Oh, yeah, I think it's, yeah, it's Intus again. Green to green. Extremist Benny Boy doing so likewise. So it's only Stinson who tries his luck on wets here. Let's stay with him again. There he is. We've seen him closing the gap very early, very much. Then we saw him struggle on the wets, and now the gap to Super D seems to be more or less stable at somewhere around 4.5 to 5 seconds. And behind him, Extremist. Is he closing up? Is Extremist closing up? Yes, he is. So opting for wets was a mistake. Wrong option for Stinson to go on wets. He now has totally ruined his race. There's Extremist who will attack and eventually overtake him very soon. Stinson into the pits once more. Okay, that's now his, what, I think 5th pit stop, and yet again, Stinson has picked up a +5 seconds for speeding in the pit lane. So after a very good qualifying, this has been a bad race for Stinson. And after all these midfield battles, here we are in the front row, Johnny Cox and Walker. As we probably finish the race on this tire, let's have a look at the penalties. So for the last few laps, just search your favorite driver and have a look where they might finish, where they might be dropped due to penalties. And Walker, yeah, he is more or less close to Cox. They make other space, but even if he would make it up to the leader, he would still need to race for a gap of 3+ seconds. So yeah, I would say rather unlikely. But we have seen crazier things in virtual racing. The table is a bit frozen. The gap from Walker to Cox is frozen at 1.0 seconds. It looks rather closer here. Let's see what's gonna happen. While there was, who was it? Didn't see all enough. Oh, Evan, it's Evan. Oh, it's Evan. Someone got disqualified. Oh, it's Evan, and he has left the session. Sadly, you couldn't finish with us here tonight. Yeah, and now the table is updating itself again. We see a gap of 8 tenths, 7.5, 7. So Walker seems to be the faster one against Johnny Cox. But this big but, you see the +3 seconds. So we have only Johnny Cox, Fatih Turam and Benny Boy who are still without the penalty. Still 15 guys in the race. That's rather good for a hectic and rainy race here in Brazil. And as things stand now, I suppose we can easily stay with our top duel here. I hope that's gonna be fine for everyone, as there is no one close to an attack. But Walker is attacks Johnny Cox on the inside, wheel to wheel into the center S. Walker in the better position, and he pulls ahead. Walker has pulled ahead of Johnny Cox. We have a new leader, just 3 laps before the checkered flag. And now the big question is, can Walker get a 3 seconds gap? He has 3 laps of time to just pull out whatever is possible. He needs a second per lap, and then he will be granted the race victory. On the other hand, Johnny Cox just needs to stay within the 3 seconds window. Let's have a short look about the pit stop strategy, just to see. Yes, I assumed correctly that Stinson was 5 times with his pit crew, incredible amount, and Walker would win the race now, even though he has 1 more stop than Johnny Cox. Cox did actually, yeah, he did everything right, with staying on his softs until the rain started to fall. But still, Walker is the, in theory, faster one. Practically, the +3 will be a big bummer for him in the end, if things stay this way. Johnny Cox just needs to exceed the track limits once in the Senna S, and everything looks different. Optics is out. Optics probably has crashed somewhere, I would like to say. Let's have a look if we can get a picture of that. Ooh, that's a bad position to be. Right in the middle of the racing line. He has wrecked his McLaren. There was another crash here, another crash from Tiraj. Maybe because of going out of the way from the McLaren. So there will not be another safety car. The car is already vanished by the CPU, and we are in the last lap of the race right now. And Johnny Cox is still behind by 1.2 seconds. So he couldn't keep Walker behind him, but he could at least stay inside the window that he needs to stay in. 1 more lap of not committing a mistake for Johnny Cox. He needs to stay fast enough to not drop back by 2.5 seconds, but he needs to stay within the track limits, and he will be given the race victory. And this would be the first race that Walker did not win then. So we are in race number 3. Walker won race 1 and 2. And right now is still in the window. He's still in the window. There is no turn left where he could exceed the track limits. For 1.4 seconds there will be the win for Walker. 1.4 seconds he can celebrate, and our winner is Johnny Cox. Jonathan Cox in the Ferrari has won the race due to the +3 seconds penalty for the Walker. In third, our still reigning champion from last season, Fatih. Fourth goes to Turamba. Ninja Penguino finishes in 5 after a good qualifying. After some back and forth in the early parts of the race, he has fought back into P5. That's a good result for him. Netcrack will finish in 6, at least for the moment. Yes, Extremist is ranked ahead. Extremist in 6, Netcrack 7. Netcrack even back to P8. Benny Boy in 7. Lewis Hamilton finishes in P9. 10th goes to Stinson after five pit stops. He even gets a point granted. Congratulations to that, to the more or less limitation of damage for Stinson. Then Tirash in 11th. Super Steve will finish in 12th, in case he still makes the checkered flag as slowly as he's crawling back there. 13th, then Smithy, and 14th and last Jakely. And we have 6 drivers to not finish. Yeah, it's taking a long time because of the monstrously slowly crawling Super Steve. I have no idea what's going on here. But now he made it. He made it. He pushed his car over the checkered flag. Yeah, and just one information that just come in from Jakely. He said that ES stuck on the entire race. I heard about that already once or twice. But yeah, well done from you to stay in the race so long. Yeah, and here's the champagne for Michael Schumacher. The living legend finished here in P2 after almost winning it. He won it for 1.4 seconds, just as long as Felipe Massa was world champion right here on this same track. So this is the final result after penalties. Johnny Cox has won it in front of Walker and Fatih in 3. Ferrari engine podium. In 4, Turamba. 5, Ninja Penguino. 6, Extremist. 7, Benny Boy. 8, Netcrack. 9, Lewis Hamilton. P10, our pole setter, Barney Stinson. P11, T-Rush. P12, Super Steve. P13, Smithy. 14th, Jakely with the ongoing ERS. P15, Optics and not finished. Owit Evan, Mike Edwards, Sotzonpat, Krovi and Deroy. So this was race 3 of 22 of our 3rd season. It was a very interesting one, a very good one, I would like to say. Very high quality racing, even in difficult conditions. And let's have a look where we will be next. Round 4 will be on the 1st of February, next Monday, from Zandvoort in the Netherlands. Thanks for being with us. Have a good evening. Stay safe in these times. See you next Monday at 8 PM of UK time. And keep racing.